So I bought a little laser thing that's supposed to shoot down pigeons, and it didn't work.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So I bought the Olympus EE-1 spot finder. It's a laser that spots birds. I'd show it to you, but I already sold it. That shouldn't spoil the review. I didn't hate it. I don't want it in my house. So I took it out, got a bunch of footage, using it how I thought it should be used, in the sense that I'm looking through this instead of the viewfinder, and then it's easier to track because I can see the surrounding area. So it's like, yep, birds lined up. So what it is, it's a little device that goes in your hot shoe, and it opens up, and it's like a glass window. I was supposed to get footage of this before selling the damn thing, but I apologize for that. So you have to calibrate it first. I was using the Sony 200 to 600, so what I did was zoom all the way out to 600, and then I used the focus dot in the middle, and then I pointed that at something, and then I lined that up. So the laser target thing should be lined up with your center focus point, and then I was gonna fly blind and be catching, like, in 240 frames per second, these fast swallows. And I was like, yeah, I'm doing it. The problem is, the damn thing wouldn't line up low enough, so that was my first complaint. Like, you can go up and down, left and right, and all the way down was still not centered. They say, oh, you can use it for any lens. Any Olympus lens. Yeah, I found you. You son of a bitch. So it didn't quite line up the way I hoped, and so I didn't compensate for that, but it looked like it was good enough, and it wasn't. I saw this nest. There was nest-like creatures there. This is all manual focus. I gave up on the thing immediately, but I do have some examples of what it will bring you. But if you were hoping to get a usable shot of a bird doing anything interesting and keeping it in the frame, I knew immediately that I would be selling this thing, because the way I shoot, like, I line something up, I'm manually focusing, even though Sony's the best autofocusing camera ever. Usually it's manual, boom. I like feeling in control, and it's like, yes. And it completely ruined my life. I can see use cases for it. There is potential, but no. These are the kinds of shots I was getting with the viewfinder. The bird at the very bottom of the frame, completely out, and nothing in focus at all. Because I was in autofocus, so like my box is probably up there, and the bird's way down there, not lined up properly. And in order to use it, you would have to know that, and then place your dot like a couple inches below the bird when you see it, and hope to a God and Satan partnership that they could work things out somehow, but it was a nightmare. This shot somewhat worked. I pointed that laser at that little frickin' red bush thing, sumac, and the catbird was there meowing at me. I was like, okay, it worked. It somewhat worked. Like, this was maybe the only shot that was like, yeah, not bad, son. Sony and Olympus working together. But most of the day was like this. Yeah, that was a bird, a yellow bird. It flew away. It was in my shot for a second. It was lined up perfect. Nothing was working. Here's another bird, perfectly in focus and exposed properly. And I love this shot because it symbolizes the darkness of our world. Now, like all things, I'm sure you'd get used to it. Like, that was one time out, and it was so frustrating. I've taken it out a couple times before that. I just never made a video on it. I was not getting used to it. I think eventually, like, okay, aim the dot lower. Okay, I could see the potential, but I wasn't adapting. There's so much that can go wrong, like where you're just trusting this laser to have your focus spot perfectly on a bird and the bird in frame. It's like, my techniques are like so fine-tuned, like even using a focus box, so many times there's twigs all over. I gotta go in manual to get around that twig just a tiny inch. So like, this is not for me. Here's a little example of manual focus versus using this dot finder thing. So this is manual. I see a bird, I focus on it, we're good to go. Framing, completely terrible. Whatever, ignore that. Rule of thirds doesn't exist yet. And then boom, we're flying away. Okay, see you later, buddy. Thanks for coming by. versus using the dot finder. Here I'm doing it. I'm completely autofocus and dot finding. And it's like, okay, we're following this thing. He's never in the shot. He's always at the very bottom. So like, yes, you could adapt and go down. So you're pointing the red dot like a foot below the bird every time. But it's a guessing game. I like the precision of the manual focus, and I do hate the Sony stabilization. I cannot wait for another company to beat this Sony a7S III spec so I can jump in it. Jump right in that pool. But yeah, like not one usable shot. A couple, somewhat. If you like the rule of one bottoms. I use that rule sometimes. If you're thinking of buying this thing through my affiliate links, let me warn you, there's one weird thing. You put it on the hot shoe and then you tighten it. Just tightening that thing is right next to the calibration points. There's almost no way a finger could be slim enough to tighten it on and not move your calibration wheels. I noticed that immediately. I was like, okay, tighten it up. So tighten it first and then calibrate and hope to God you never have to take it off again. It does require a battery, one of those little lithium ones. It seemed to last. I just left it on in hopes because it was getting annoying. I was trying to save the battery, and so I would turn it off and close the thing. Don't do that. Just leave it on, but you'll probably have to buy batteries. Sign up to a club saving member thing for that. This was the most embarrassing attempt here. I had a Robin. It was so close to me. I was like, okay. I'm looking entirely through this dot finder, and I'm putting that dot on the Robin, and there was like times that it was working, but like for the most part, not even close. Whereas if I was looking through the viewfinder, I could have known to zoom out a bit. It was a little tight of a shot, and I would have known if it was in focus or not. So like, I don't like the guesswork of this thing, but what I was thinking, yeah, nice job, Sony. That was beautiful. Focus pulled to where he was thinking of flying and then back to the bird to confirm it. It's not cool. What I was going to use this for are like the swallows and super fast birds that I can't keep in my eye. Like when you're looking like that, you get a little box. As soon as the bird flies out of the box, it's like, where is he now? Where is it? Whereas that thing, you got an open field and it was still hard to keep them in that laser field, but like it was better. So I was thinking 240 frames, birds in flight, tracking. There's potential. It could work with the right lens, and then autofocus is getting it. But if you were looking for out of focus birds at the very bottom of your frame type of shots, where the birds don't matter as much and it's more about the trees, then you could have that type of show, and this thing is great for that. I found it was perfect. If that's your thing. I tracked this moth for like half an hour, and that was the amount of usable footage from that shot. It wasn't a lot. And last shot of the day, I just switched to manual. I'm looking through the viewfinder. I got a little shot of the bird. At least he's in focus for a second. And I did nothing. I didn't adapt to the situation. Whatever, he left. So no, Olympus, that was not a cool product. I like the idea. It wasn't adaptable to my lens. Maybe it works perfectly on the Olympus, but like if you're zooming, like at 100, it would be very different calibration than at 400. So you're gonna recalibrate in the field. Like you need a tripod for that. It's a whole thing that I'm glad to be done with. I'm glad it's gone. So Olympus, you suck. The Fuji XS20 debunks your OM1, and that's embarrassing. Less money, better specs. Ouch. Ouch to that. And good luck making another camera one day. I doubt they're ever going to make one. So far, we've only seen Olympus products being made. They were obviously already working on them. Are they ever going to release an OM2 by OM system? The odds aren't good. So I'm going to leave. Are you buying a Panasonic Pony of Hope t-shirt? Will Panasonic make a dot finder near you that sells in movie theaters for half-price Tuesday matinee specials? Subscribe for my channel. Done.